All right, I'd like to call the meeting to order. Let's proceed with the roll call, and then we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thelma Bird.
Suzanne D'Onofrio.
Susan Fetzi.
Jan Kopchik,
Harriet Polanski.
stand and do the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
and justice for all.
Okay. Are there any revisions to the minutes of the November 23rd, 2015 Trumbull Housing Authority regular board meeting?
Yes.
Okay.
I already passed them into Barbara, and Sue also made that change.
I made changes already, right?
Okay. In that case, I make a motion to approve the minutes of November 23rd, 2015. Is there all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion approved. We have residents' comments. Paul, Mr. Littlefield.
Thank you.
Okay.
We're at a little bit of a disadvantage because we don't know exactly what the motion will be for your item number 8 on the new business. But if it's what I think it might be, I believe it may have to do with a policy change of switching the burden of cost for extermination from the landlord to the tenant. And I would like to know what precedent comes from that, or that is based on, what legal basis you have for doing that, since 90% that I know of, commercial and for nonprofit housing, the landlord is the one that's responsible. And that is backed up by the Trumbull Housing Code. I don't know if you looked at that. There's the rights and responsibilities of landlords and tenants in Connecticut, put out by the Judicial Department. I don't know if you've looked at that, but they all point out to the landlord as basically responsible for expenses having to do with extermination of pests. And in Bridgeport, on the HUD, Harrison House has been had extermination of bed bugs several times, and the tenants have not been charged except for the preparation, putting their clothes in bags, taking out clothes from the closets, and so forth. So I would recommend you look at this very, very carefully, because I don't think you want to be tagged with being one of the first housing authorities to put in such a rule. Now, you've spent $400,000 on an application for which you got zero. We have no benefit from that $400,000. $2,700, the executive points out, was spent in 12 months on extermination. That's only $15 average an apartment. That is peanuts. So I would recommend that this motion, if this is what it's to be, and I asked for the motion in advance, and I did not receive it because the executive had been away and came back, was very busy, too busy to respond to my request. So I ask you to carefully examine this. I want to hear the discussion. It says discussion. So I want to hear the board members talk about this. I don't want to see it just
Thank you, Mr. Littlefield.
Motion. Thank you very much for your attention.
Okay, next one is Patricia Lungi.
I can't hear you, dear. Okay.
Sorry.
I would just like to talk about my experience. My husband passed away when I was 47 years old. And since then, I've lived in 15 different places. Houses, apartments, condominiums. Never once in all these years, 27 years, have I ever paid for pest control. in the private sector or in Sullivan McKinney in Fairfield. It was done every month, once a month. And if we needed it again, and thank God I never did, we could ask and it would be done for nothing. I just don't understand this at all. That's all.
Okay, thank you. At this point, we'll ask Thelma to deliver the treasurer report.
All right. All right, this is a financial summary, period ending November 30th, 2015. For the 5 months ending November 30th, 2015, Stern Village and Stern Center has an overall gain for the period of $10,229. All of our vendors have been paid. Our current accounts payable amounts to $50,067, which includes our pilot payment for the previous year. Our cash position is healthy at the present time. For the village, our current cash position is approximately $50,199, and the center's cash position is $19,464. Capital expenditure have increased for the village. We bought some refrigerators. All the refrigerators will be energy efficient. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Executive Director's report.
I'll continue on that note that Thelma said. Currently, a reserve balance is over $1,438,629, which is approximately $6,480 for each unit in the entire complex. Again, this is our overall. I'm sorry. That was our reserve balance. Our overall cash position as of November 30th, 2015, shows a balance of $1,191,510, including our investment account. We're looking at a grant from TD Bank to offset costs to procure a salad bar with a sneeze guard and convection oven, which are both necessary to the congregate. So that wraps it up with the financial summary. I want to thank the THA commissioners for all their hard work this year. I also want to thank all our volunteers who have made a positive impact on our community. And there have been some vendors that we've had that have made the holidays extra special for our residents this year. They are Home Depot, they are Ed Henrich from United Healthcare, Mark, Malik, Omar, and Naomi from Hancock Pharmacy, Chip's Restaurant, WB Mason, and Verizon. I'm Mandy and Verizon. So these people have really helped to make our volunteers who have really gone out of their way to help us, great holidays. We talked about charter last board meeting, and I did finally spoke to our charter rep outside of Massachusetts. I can't tell you how many charter reps I had been getting bounced around to. So what charter is going to do, they're going to assess the signal strength for a property and do whatever they can to fix the issues. So we discussed a mid-January time frame for the results. So I finally have someone that is actually working on it. Twice a year I provide you with a recap, and the recap will be in the newsletter, and so you'll all have it, but I'm going to give you a little gist of it. In July, or August as you know, we had a horseshoe pit, and the horseshoe pit was built by the Trumbull Home Depot for residents. Team Home Depot volunteered their time and donated the materials. Team members spent a day at Stern Village building it for the residents, and it's been getting a lot of use. My monthly Tuesday teas go strong. They're very effective in bringing residents together to discuss undertakings, events, concerns, issues. We do a lot of problem solving at these Tuesday teas, and then we have several guest speakers afterwards. I probably have about 30 or 40 people on our Facebook page, which is great because a lot of residents do go on it because I post all kinds of pictures and happenings, and it's really free advertising. And then I let other Facebook groups know all the great things that we're doing at Stern Village. Between July 1st, 2015 and the end of this year, as you know, again, our 2015-2016 management plans for Stern Village and the congregate were approved by CHFA and DOH. I've continued to maintain excellent working relationships with the town of Trumbull. For example, our new health director, Rhonda Capiano, has been extremely supportive, and her team has been on site for various hoarding issues. Some of the issues that they were on site for are all cleaned up. Some of the problem people that we had, their places, Paulette will say, are really nice now. WPCA has flushed out sewer lines and helped us with major clogs in the sanitary system. Even though we pay pilot for town services, many town employees have gone above and beyond to assist us. So we do appreciate everything we did. Let's talk about the funding. THA applied for SSHP funding April 2015 for a redevelopment project. The funding for the SSHP was awarded to several housing authorities that were asking for $4 million or less. So since we were asking for just about the bulk of it, or at least half, they were able to spread the wealth around the state. In August, I received a call from DOH and CHFA stating they want to do the project. For the past several months, we've been diligently working with CHFA and DOH on the redevelopment and revitalization of Stern Village. Based on CHFA directives, we have revised our plans several times. Recently, the state asked us to phase the project, and we provide additional plans and proposals to CHFA. Bruce Whitaker, Frank Stiletto from Millennium, and I had a resident participation meeting to provide updates and discuss the phasing approach. Even though it's phasing, it's really parallel. You can't do one side without the other. You can't do half a road. The site work for this particular part of the development is quite extensive. We have a lot of infrastructure issues. We have the new loop road. So obviously it's going to cost a lot more than to do the other side. I've also met with Development Advisory Committee for the redevelopment of Stern Village to discuss plans. Again, the CHFA and DOH want to do the project, and we're working with them to get it approved by the state, and we should get some additional directives from them by the end of this week. Paulette and I started an Are You OK program for Stern Village. It's intended for neighbors watching out for neighbors. We have approximately 25 quad leaders, and Paulette conducts monthly meetings to discuss any issues or answer questions. Within the last 6 months, I also received a grant for $5,000 to pay for TOVA. Kim comes each month to start conducting leadership trainings with the residents and is working with the residents on creating a new duly elected residents association. Her annual picnic was a huge success. We received approximately $500 in donations, large coolers, sheet cakes, and the food and preparation was donated by Jeff Shapiro of Creative Culinary. Over the last 6 months, we have a new phone system, if you've noticed, for the THA office and the congregate office. The existing phone lines were not being utilized correctly, which resulted in missed calls, and you know we can't have that. Competitive Resources was selected by UI to test and assess several units to determine if Stern Village qualifies for energy efficiency. Units that were part of this sample were provided with in-unit weatherization, faucet aerators, and low-flow devices for shower heads. UI is currently reviewing the proposal that was submitted by Competitive Resources on our behalf, and hopefully UI will allow Competitive Resources to provide weatherization for all the units. They told me they'll know by the end of this year, so guess what? It's almost the end of the year. Over the last several months, we've been working with Green Bank and C-Tech Solar to implement solar energy for the congregate. Neil, Frank Stiletto, and I have reviewed several draft agreements from Green Bank, as well as had many conference calls. And my hope is that by early next year, we'll be able to implement solar energy for the congregate building. I just want to run down some of the activities we've had over the last 6 months, because for those of you that don't attend these meetings, you're really missing out on a lot. So thanks to Paulette, and myself, but Paulette pretty much does a lot of the grunt work on this. Aquarium discussed water conservation and benefits of drinking water. They also provide us with 100 water conservation kits. Bethel Healthcare discussed COPD. Griswold Home Care Agency provided an ice cream social. Hudson Mobility discussed equipment for mobility. WellCare provided an ice cream social. Alzheimer's Association discussed a workshop on brain power. Bethel Healthcare demonstrated healthy cooking options. TD Bank discussed various services. Wings of Eagle Senior Services discussed depression. Patriot Bank discussed budgeting techniques. Nurse Teresa Cryan presented a seminar on breast and health awareness. Southwestern Connecticut Agency on Aging providing updates on Medicare and supplemental insurance plans. United Healthcare discussed Medicare. The Health Department administered flu shots for the second consecutive year. Nurse Teresa Cryan discussed diabetes and foot care. John and Darby Ruby donated 25 turkeys for the second consecutive year. Long Hill Garden Club comes all the time. They work with our residents to make dried flower arrangements in the fall and pomaters for the holidays. We had a facilitator come to discuss macular degeneration, glaucoma, cataracts, and blindness. Paulette conducted an Are You OK breakfast for the quad leaders. June Leonard and our helpers, we had a huge resident holiday party, and today's holiday brunch was donated by Jeff Shapiro of Creative Culinary, and we probably had about 60 people. 60 people attended. Well, good. So that's the last 6 months, and you'll all be getting copies of these.
All right, thank you, Harriet. There's none unfinished business. We do have some new business, and we're going to turn it over to Harriet.
So when a unit is rented, the units are delivered to the tenant in a sanitized condition. We have had residents with bed bug infestations and roaches. These are brought into the apartment. They don't just appear. For some infestations, like bed bugs or roaches, we call in an Orkin exterminator. Orkin is able to source and validate where the infestation originates. Therefore, I think that resident should be responsible for payment. In 2015, we spent over $2,700 on extermination services for bed bugs. So you have to understand, when Orkin comes in, they do all 4 apartments. They can't just do one. It's an upheaval for everyone else, all the other residents that, don't have any, and it's money that I'd rather see spent somewhere else. Please note that Ray Rizzio also, given a heads up on this, and we did discuss it.
So the Housing Authority attorney has agreed with this as well.
The Housing Attorney Authority. Yeah.
So it's basically the infestation costs you're talking about, the type that are related to overall filth or food spoilage or just uncleanliness of their apartment and how it's kept or unkept in some matters.
Or how it's brought in.
Mm-hmm. But if it was the case of termites, that is not that's excluded in the Trumbull Housing Authority would be responsible for something like that.
Correct.
Okay.
Does the housing have regular pest control in general?
If there's a problem, let's say there's a field mouse, Jeff will go in and put a trap in because we're in the woods. If there's ants, we have traps for ants. But if there's a major infestation, now we have residents that sometimes bring in beds from God knows where they got it from.
So it would be a way to discourage that.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. So anything that we can do from our maintenance people would be our responsibility, that they don't need to be putting up the cost for those. That's just something that we will do for the tenants.
Absolutely.
It's the above and beyond that we're asking for. Mm-hmm. Just based on unkeptness. Well, that is really, it's in the control of the tenant, how you keep your home.
Right.
The men all summer long spray.
Yes, we do spray.
Yes, they do that.
For ants.
Yeah, for ants and
spiders.
And spiders, yeah.
Yeah, right, they do that.
Yeah, they take care of that.
We never had it until about a year ago. I've been here 25 years, never had cockroaches or bed bugs.
Well, we make sure that if someone leaves any type of upholstered furniture in the apartments, we get rid of them properly. We do not let other residents take them because we don't want to be blamed for anything that might,
And the rugs we
Come out of
pull
it.
up too.
We pull out the
Yeah,
rugs if we
so-
want to.
Yeah.
The rugs are always shampooed.
Yep.
And this will be spelled out in the new lease.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I don't have any problem with it then.
I don't either.
As long as the termites are our responsibility
Yes,
and the
yes.
maintenance men and what they are going to be doing is not going to be providing a cost to the tenants, it's fine.
Now, understand, we do have tenants that work with on payment plans.
Mm-hmm.
If someone can, only afford a little bit of time, we'll work with you.
All right, do you have
Okay.
anything else?
Okay, then I make a motion that the Trumbull Housing Authority units will be delivered to the tenants in a sanitized condition, and that the tenant will confirm the same at acceptance of the unit. The tenant shall be responsible for the cost of extermination of any future infestations discovered by the landlord that is not normally covered within the daily maintenance of the Trumbull Housing Authority maintenance people.
Could we say that this is premature? Because the
Why
state,
recognizing him?
As a
You're not
responsibility.
recognized. You're not recognized.
It's not a discussion
It's-
right now.
You're not recognized. Sorry. So I'm opposing as the
I
executive.
don't
Is there a
want to take-
second?
I don't want to pay
Second.
for my
All in favor?
Aye.
adjacent.
Okay, motion now approved. Okay, at this point, I now make a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion approved. Everybody have a good holiday season.
Who seconded the motion?
Second, the adjournment.
I do.